And they keep changing stuff. And they've done a few things that I don't like, and I'll give you an example. Before they fired all their VPs and they did their changing, we had about $2 million of business that was approved that they refused to accept because they pulled the product line. Approved business. We're waiting. Yeah, literally, the agent had, we had a couple cases, like $1 million cases, where the agent had the policy, took the policy to the client, got the client to sign it, brought it back, the carrier wouldn't accept it. They pulled the plug on it. And that's not the first time they've done that. That's the second time that they've done that. When they bought Western Reserve, they did the same thing with them. So
right now they changed the pricing. I thought they're under A1.
Western Reserve's gone.
I know it is, but transfer is also under A1.
Right. Aon bought them actually, and they merged them, and they got rid of Western Reserve. But when they did it, they did the same thing. I don't like that.
I have another.
You can't trust them. Is the problem? Is I don't trust them. There you go. Do they have a decent product? Sure. Do I trust them? Not for no reason at all. I do not trust that they will honor anything that they say they will. So I can't in good conscience tell you, yeah, write with them. I'm not going to say not to write with them. They're going to do it. They're going to do a presentation for us, but maybe they'll win me back over. We've got a new guy. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But I've had some bad experiences with them. Their products are good. I'm not saying they're not. They are. The products are sound. So I'm not negative against them on the product lines. I'm more on the service lines. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, right.
Reebok website there's no IUL coded. It's term and GUL.
There is, but we'll get to that. So okay, so the first thing is, again, carriers. I'm not going to go through it, but under carriers, you can just pick the carrier and it's got microsites. Quotes, when you need to run quotes, go to term and UL quotes. When you click that, this is going to open. Go to Vital Quote. Under Vital Quote, you have obviously lots of resources. I wouldn't use, and I would advise your agents, don't use this to process business. It's a different, you'll see in a minute. I'll show you how to do it, but I would advise them because they could get in here and they'll see that they can take an e-app. Don't do it. You're going to get confused. It's a harder system to use. I have an easier system that you can use to submit business, okay? You can still submit to all the same carriers. If you need to know carrier ratings or financials, you can pull company reports. So you can go in here, you can pick the carrier, and then you can actually pick the reports you want to know about, such as their financial strength. Where do they invest their money? How do they invest their money? Like, how's it allocated? It doesn't come up very often, but in case it does.
Just to compare the big boys like the Northwestern Mutual, New York Life, Master.
I think they're in there too, but I don't know. They could be in there. Quoting tools, under quoting tools, you would hit full quote. Once the quote sets up, I never put a client. You can personalize it if you want, but I always just put client. Then I never have to change the name. Date of birth, it's good. You can put age or date of birth, but age nearest. Most carriers are age nearest carriers, so you want to put the date of birth to make sure you're accurate. Obviously, male or female, any state, whatever state they're in. I'm sorry? Yeah, look, all of them. Yeah. Once you log in, you can use our system. So you put the date of birth. You can, under quotes, you can solve for either premium or face amount. Premium is if you know the face. So customer says, I want $500,000. How much does it cost? That's normally how it's sold. Sometimes you'll have a client say, hey, I've got a budget of $150. How much can I get? So in that situation, you would solve for face because we know the amount of premium that they have. You can select amounts. So you can put an amount here, or if there's multiple amounts. That's why I like going to this system instead of like the software, because for term, I don't need the quote actually. I don't need them to sign a page. I just need the number. So I can run them all, figure out what the number is, and move on. But instead of running multiple quotes for people, they say, hey, what's 250, 500, a million? Do it all in one. You can do up to 4. So you select the amount. I'm sorry? Yeah, there's riders. You can do waiver of premium, granted, and I'll show you. Again, there's more systems. You'll see. This is just a quick quote because there's another platform that'll tell you all the riders. Those are not all the riders that are with every carrier. We know that, but those are just the main ones. So you have waiver, ADB, child rider. I'll click this so you know. Now here's the thing. Beware. I never usually select the riders up front because not every carrier has every rider. And if you select the rider and they don't have it, they're going to exclude that carrier. Just be mindful of that. So I personally don't. I figure out how much it's going to cost. I know these riders only cost a little bit. So if the insurance is $40 and they want to do a child rider, I know it's like $10 more. It's not going to be that much more. But once I figure out which company I'm going to go with, then I would go run a quote in the system. An actual term quote, if that makes sense. And if I already know the carrier, let's say I'm going to use AIG Partners. I know that, but I just want to know what this other stuff costs. So that when I'm having my conversation, I can address, as a salesperson, being in the field, handle an objection before it becomes one. If you know that might be an objection, address it. Now, Mr. Klein, you may be able to go out there and call Select Quote and get this for $20 cheaper with this other carrier, but here's what it's not going to come with. So we know about those carriers. Well, here's why we chose this one, A, B, C, D. We think it's the best carrier for you for this fit. Clients, they like that. Problem is that agents give clients too many options. Think of it like this. This is something that my mentor taught me. It says, okay, you go to the doctor, right? You go to the doctor says, hey, you got a touch of high blood pressure. We're going to put you on some medication. Hold on. Does he go to his cabinet and pull out 100 different medications and ask you, which one do you want? We laugh because it's stupid. It sounds silly. He's a professional. We are relying on him to tell us what he thinks is best for us. The same mentality should apply to you. You're a professional. You have more knowledge than the average person. You should be helping determine how much insurance that they need. So if a client tells me, I want a $500,000 quote, I said, great, how did you come up with that number? Where did it come from? Well, I don't know. That's what everyone else has. No problem. We can definitely get you $500,000. But why don't we find out if that's really your number? How much do you owe on your house? Do you have a college fund set up for your kids? Would you like them to go to college? And I just go through my needs analysis. And I usually turn a $500 into $1 million sale. And it's easy. Just by knowing those little tricks. And I've never had a person say, well, sometimes they know exactly what they need, but usually they say, I don't know. My brother-in-law has. Somebody told me that's how much I need. Well, how'd they come up with that number? Where's it from? What is it based on? When you walk them through the process, you usually find out that they need more insurance than what they're asking for. Now, they may not be able to afford more insurance, and that's a different conversation, but it helps you get a higher ticket per sale. Yes. And never show more than 3 options, ever. Never. Cheap, middle, best. I always present the middle one and ask them which one do they want. I'm assuming they're purchasing something. We're going low, we're going high. Which one are we going with? Assumed close, always. And I had about a 70% close ratio. I was closing you. It's most like you'd have to stop me. It's funny, when I was in the field, I would just assume everybody was buying. Would get offended if you didn't buy. So I'd go through an application, or I'd go through the quote, and people would say, you know what? Let me think about it. I said, great. While you're thinking about it, let's see if you qualify. And I'd pull an app out and start filling it out. They'd have to say, I ain't buying, man. No, stop. Okay. But you'd be surprised how many people will do it.
I was sitting with this other girl, we were just talking to Northwestern Mutual, and then I was showing her NLG, and the other guy was writing a bunch of reports bashing NLG and all these stuff, and then so it made her really weary, and then the other guy said, well, Northwestern Mutual has been around over 200 years. So I'm like, no, it's not. It's been around only 162 years. We've been around 171 years. And I'm like, I'm not bashing anybody, I'm giving facts. And then he was saying something. And then finally, I feel like she called me and said, okay, let's just fill out the application and give me your driver's license. She pulled out her wallet and here it is. And we just completed the app. But for the time that she was just like in her head,
Sure.
should I do this? All she needed was, somebody holding her hand
Yep.
and telling her, let's do this. It's okay.
Here's what I tell clients when they say, so there's a big giant news flash. All of them are good carriers. All of them are good. They pay claims. Yes. It depends on what you're trying to accomplish, determines which one's better for you. There's not one that's better than the other. And I would tell him at any given time, if you say, we've been around this long, well, there's companies that have been around longer. Does that make you a bad company? No. Does that make them a bad company if they've been around 140 versus 170? That's a stupid conversation, I'd say. It doesn't even make sense, right? Look at rating. Anything A or better, you're fine. Oh, we've got a 97 Comdex. Ooh, they got a 92 Comdex. Like, they're not going to pay claims. Yes, they're going to pay the claim. So as a client, what do you care about? Is the company going to be around to pay it, right? Well, here's another news flash. If the company goes out of business, you realize that most states, in fact, I think all states require insurance companies to have arrangements with other insurance companies to buy up their policies. Do you know why? Think about it. What do we sell? No, we sell a promise, an IOU that we will pay you when you're no longer here to fight for it. That's what we sell. What do you think would happen if an insurance company went out of business and didn't pay any claims to their policyholders? Who would buy insurance at that point? So for self-preservation, they'll buy up those policies because they know there will be a tank in the market if they don't. That's why they will. Most of them are, where they are part of a group where, so the state actually, if a company goes insolvent, the state steps in and negotiates the brokerage agreement. Here's another news flash. Did you realize that insurance companies sell off their blocks of business regularly? So at any given time, insurance companies can have blocks of business from company A or company B. Did you know that? They don't retain it all themselves. No, they don't. They sell the block off. Yeah, because they have to keep reserves. Sell it for profit. It's a contractual agreement. It doesn't matter if they sell it. It's a contractual agreement. Whoever they sell it to just bought the contract. There's no commission. It's usually carrier to carrier. They'll sell it in blocks. So they'll say, these 10,000 policies is a block. They're issued back in the 1980s. We'll sell them off. Manhattan Life is a good example. That was a block buyer. They don't even sell product, really. Yeah, right. So it doesn't, I mean, some carriers don't, like Northwestern Mutual and New York Life. They don't really sell those because it's a mutual company. But most other ones, they can and they will. Okay, but remember, what a lot of people don't realize is that life insurance is your property. It's a unilateral contract. When you're applying for coverage, the carrier has all rights to tell you no for any reason. You realize that. They could just tell you, we just don't want your business. We just don't want to do business with you. Go away. You're not in decline. We just don't want to work with you. They have that right. But once the policy is issued, the owner holds all the rights to the contract. They can sell it. They can trade it. They can do whatever they want because that is a binding agreement. In 1908, the Supreme Court said life insurance is personal property, just like your house. So when you start understanding that, now you start to realize it's only in the carrier's favor when you're going through the underwriting process. Once that's finished, then it's the owner who has all the control of that contract. So once you have the face amounts in, you can pick how you want it. If you go annual, it actually breaks it out for you anyway, and I'll show you. So I'm going to do annual. You can do riders, but like I said, if you do a rider and it's not there, it'll exclude that carrier. You can pick multiple risk classes. So I'm going to do preferred and standard. Standard is most common. That's about 50% of the population. That's, you know, might be a little bit overweight, might have a little cholesterol, a little blood pressure. As long as it's all taken care of, you're going to be standard. Preferred usually need to be, now I wouldn't say perfect. They'll do cholesterol and stuff too, but you're going to need to be a much more healthier. That's probably 25, 30% of the population. Super preferred is 10% of the population. You better be an Olympic athlete. And then everybody else is rated with something, you know, they got diabetes or whatever, okay? So I'm going to do preferred and standard. Oh, just FYI, the minimum face amount, if you run this system, is 50,000. 100's most common. You'll see a lot of carriers get excluded at 50. You're only going to have a few. But you're right. Most companies are 100,000 for term, starting. Yes. There's a couple that aren't, but you're not going to see many. You can pick the product type. I'm doing 15 and 30. Again, when you first log in, and I say this because if you don't do this, you're not going to see any carriers. It's going to be like this. That's going to be checked. And what this means is that you can just go in and pick the exact product. See that? So if I wanted to just, see, it's only picked the 20 and 30 products over here. See that? Well, what you do is you just uncheck it, and it'll automatically do it for me. I don't have to go pick every one individual carrier. But let's say you only wanted to see one company for 20 years. You want to see AXA 20 years. Select manual, pick that one company, and you can just see that one company. But again, it makes no sense because I can exclude all the other ones on the next page anyway. So I always just run them all, hit next. Quick report's only going to show you the top 8. You can do that if you want, but I usually just do the whole thing. So now we have a client, age, our date of birth 10/26/91, male, lives in Texas. We didn't do any riders. We've got 250, 500, and a million. Different carriers, preferred non-tobacco, standard non-tobacco. These are annual premiums, okay? Remember, I put it on annual. If I put my cursor over it, it'll give me monthly. And on the next page, it'll give you monthly too. But you can pick monthly on the other one. I just did this one. So you can go through, here's the 30-year terms. You notice that in a 30-year, Lincoln's better. Transamerica too. I mean, for term, they're not bad. I mean, they're definitely a contender. Nothing. Term is term is term. The only difference might be if it has living benefits or you add additional riders. But the baseline, there's no difference between a term. They're all going to do the same thing. You die, it pays a claim, period. Anybody. Just tell him he's a construction worker. Don't get into the details.
As far as California, so standing over marijuana.
We got a whole bunch of those too. I'll get to that in a second. We actually have a whole underwriting list that'll address most of your concerns regarding that.
So you generate the report, you need to uncheck.
Yeah. So what I do is once I generate a report, I'll uncheck all of them and I'll pick the ones I want to see. So I know that AG is the best, but let's say I only want to show Transamerica. So I'll pick Trans and then go from there because, you know, everything below that's going to be more expensive. You know, so I may say, all right, I just want to do Trans, Foresters, American National. All right. I'm just going to pick those 3. Now, you have to do it per one, okay? So 500, then you'd have to do it again through 1 million if you wanted to see those.
Now, this Transamerica policy, that's the same one that everyone's selling, or is that a special?
No, same one. The LB has the living benefits, so it costs a little more. That one doesn't have living benefits. Once you've selected what you want, just go to the bottom. You can change stuff too, so if you need to update it or change it, you can change it and recalculate. But once you select it, you can hit next down here at the bottom. It's going to generate reports. I normally do ledger view all products. You'll see why in a minute. But you can do all kinds of, you can have a cover page, features. I mean, it's too much stuff. Yeah, I mean, it really is. But all you really need is the ledger view. Maybe you might want to do a cover page. Cover page, like if you put the client's name, it'll put their name and stuff on there. So that's up to you. But ledger view, you put it over here. I always print it, but it's because it puts it in a print preview in PDF. And then you can just save it and send it or whatever. You can save it as a package too in here and come back and open it later. So once it opens,
customer would like to buy certain company. Is there a way that they can direct us to the form and
Yeah.
form application?
yeah, I'm gonna show you that. You're talking about for application, right? Yeah, that'll be next. So first you run the quote. We know what we're doing. So here you see, he broke it down for me. I got a 20-year, $250,000. Okay. So I picked, let's see here, trendsetter. Oh, these are the different rate classes. I'm sorry. That's why the premium's different. I was like, wait a minute. Why is the premium different? If you scroll down, it tells you the different ratings. See right here, see? Standard, preferred. It also breaks down monthly, annual, all that. Gives me financial assets. I mean, it does a lot of stuff on this. So you don't really, this to me is the only thing you need. This page. This will give you whatever information you want. Now, be mindful, you know, don't send the carrier or the client 100 quotes. It's just gonna blow them back. 30 pages of quotes. Pick a couple and send them that if you're gonna send them to them, you know. But all right, so once that's here, you can save it now and send it to your client or print it off, whatever you want to do. Any questions on quoting? Very easy. It's like running a car quote. Simple. I don't usually send a client a quote, period. I never send them a quote. No. The only time I'll send somebody a quote is if it's like a business client and they're legitimately going to buy it. Like, you know, you got a guy who's going to have to get a loan. I might send it to him. But anybody else,
If you send them an illustration,
I usually do that.
Find something lower somewhere, then you're done.
I either set a meeting to visit with them face to face or sell it over the phone because I don't need to see them.
Because a lot of time client ask me to send these, and after that, a week don't even answer. 1 month.
Say, I can send it to you, but you're not going to know what you're looking at.
Exactly.
If I sent you an attorney agreement, would you know what that? No, you wouldn't know what. You're not going to know what you're looking at. Let me sit down with you and go through it so I can address all your questions. Period. No, just send me the quote. It doesn't matter. It's not going to help you. You're not going to know.
You send it the quote, and just leave it to somebody else.
Yes, right.
Okay,
Exactly. The last one in always wins, right? And if you send it to them, then they're going to go to call the other agent to say, hey, this is what I got. What can you do? And even if they give them the same thing, they're going to buy it from them because they're there with them. So, exactly. Yeah, I just save it on, you can save it in here or you can save it to your desktop. It's up to you. What do you mean? Oh, yeah. And you mean like if I wanted to save this quote in here? Yeah. If you go, look, I'll show you. No, we already downloaded it. I'm going to go back on the previous page. So before I printed it, save as package. And it'll save it in here and then save cases. See that? View cases. I can open it back up. Take a look at it later. Any questions on this? Okay. Then there'll be a lot of questions. Yes.
Yeah. Now, just we prepare like
Mhm.
we shop how
Mhm.
much money,
Mhm.
1 to 3 or 1 to 5,
Mhm.
and then talk with the client.
That's good. Okay, so that's pretty much most of it on here. WinFlex, I'm not going to get into that. That's the actual software system. So if you wanted to get in there, we can do another. It's a whole training by itself. Okay, but that's the. Has anyone ever used WinFlex?
I use it all the time. That was what I thought.
Same thing. It has all the carriers. Okay, the only ones it doesn't is National Life Group, AIG Partners, and American National, because they have their own software. Thing is, they don't want to pay to put it on that. That's why they have their own.
Is there any way you can show us how to run final expense?
Final expense is a little different. Yeah, that's going to be, we need to pick a couple carriers. Again, most. All right, so here's what I would recommend. If we're going to do Mutual of Omaha, everyone has their smartphone, right? We can just download. If you look up, let me pull it up and see which one it is. If you go to your Google Play Store and you look up quotes, you can download. They don't ask for an agent number. Okay, you can download directly to your. No, you can go to your so Apple Store or whatever, and it pulls all their products up. See that? Mutual of Omaha. Yeah, you just go look to the Google Store. Yep. Yep. So their final expense is Living Promise. So they have a bunch of products, but their final expense is named Living Promise. So then you click on Living Promise. I'm running a quote right now. And I put in the age, 55, level, male, tobacco user,
Okay.
10,000, calculate.
Yeah, I knew the answer. I just want Jonathan to get together with that.
Yeah. So it's there. And you know what the good news is, Mutual of Omaha actually has some of the best rates. Foresters, you can also, and I'll show you how to do that. You can also put it on your phone. And those two will give you, they're very competitive.
How about Anico?
Anico's not. Yeah, they're in here in the system. Every time you log in, it updates. Yeah, so here's a quote. I just ran a quote for final expense for 55-year-old for $10,000. $35 a month. Mutual of Omaha.
This is an app, so it's kind of long. When you go in there and you code it, is that have a default to go directly to the company website? And
you could. This doesn't take you directly to the site. This is just for quoting. That's if I'm sitting with a client and I need to pull it up real quick here. But if they say, yeah, I want to take an app, then you can go into our system and take the app. And I'll show you that next. In fact, that's the next thing we're going to talk about.
So besides that, remember
55, 10,000.
okay, besides that, we have the aggregable code, so we do the other thing. That's the other two tools we have, because sometimes we have the final expense people, I want to find them. This is a starting point.
Yeah.
Like this
This is probably the cheapest, by the way. So they're not going to be, if they find it cheaper, it's not going to be much cheaper. $1, $2, I mean, pretty low cost. Yeah, we can, so if you do in quotes, let me show you. Under quotes, term and UL, you can do GUL in here. Let me show you. So going back to the, no, you're fine. Going back to the GUL, so you can do term and GUL comparison. You launch auto quote on their app. Yeah, electronically. I mean, it's a day or two turnaround, so it's not immediate.
Like AIG have instant.
Does AIG for the guaranteed issue?
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is
okay.
the guarantee issue too. But the major difference is AIG is higher.
Yeah.
Cost is higher, yeah.
But
So,
it's guaranteed, it's not guaranteed.
No, those,
It's
it can be
not
level or graded. On the Mutual of Omaha, it can be level or graded.
Mhm.
Graded, I mean, you cannot die first 2 years.
Okay.
A level, I think they just ask a couple of health questions there, right?
Yeah, on the graded, there's like 3 knockout questions. They're like serious ones. As long as you say no to those, then you're getting the
Yeah, are you
policy.
going to die in bed?
Right.
what about waiting period for hospitalized?
Like a hospital plan?
Yeah, I mean, the hospital, I have a customer, she's been in hospital in the last 3 months, but I applied for final expense, they reject right away.
Absolutely. Anybody that's in the hospital, they're not gonna. They'll be like, we go to the old folks home and say, all right, I got a mirror. Let's see who's alive. Oh, I got a good one. Let's get it. Oh yeah, yeah. There's ones that'll do it. So I mean, we can always go back and like the guaranteed issue of American General. The question should ask you and tell you if they're going to get it or not. So if that's a knockout, then it will say it in the actual questions. I mean, they don't do a lot of underwriting with these things. These things are pretty quick.
Just general three questions, and those three questions based on if that person is on his way out or not.
So to run a GUL, these are all GULs by down here.
Oh, below. Oh.
So yeah, so let's say 105. We're going to do GUL to 105. Then I hit next. Guaranteed. Doesn't mean guaranteed issue. Means the guaranteed premium. Premium will not change throughout the contract, and a guaranteed death benefit. So here's, see, product type UL to age of 105. Here's the annual premiums, or monthly, so, you know, $85 a month. 250. Yeah.
So
You
tell me
watch
what
the
all the
video
prices
again,
we have
then-
now.
Yep.
Is that monthly or annual?
That's annual.
Yeah.
87 a month.
27.
Yeah, it's cheap. Okay, so any questions on that? All right, we're gonna move on to the how to take an app. So now we run the quote. Now how if we want to. Hey, I'm almost there. Remember, I came from Houston, so I'm 2 hours ahead of you, and I was on a plane for 4 hours. I'm kind of tired.
That's a question of ARP.
It's okay. He's an ARP member.
Asian American government.
Like, earlier it was Asian friendly.
Oh, Asian.
Every carrier is different. Some are a week, some are 3 weeks. Honestly, it's really up to them how fast they how many applications they've got. I mean, if they have an influx of new agents, it could take longer. They don't have that many a week. Almost 2 weeks. Give yourself 2 weeks. Don't take the app and wait 2 weeks to submit it. No, submit your contract at the same time. Yeah. That doesn't make a difference. They'll process your app, but they're not going to finalize until you're appointed.
Well,
But they'll get the
insurance,
process
they
started.
often ask, do you have new business
Right.
to submit with your
Yes.
appointment? If you say yes, then that will escalate your
Yes,
file. to
Correct.
in front of
And
everyone.
That's
because
correct.
The carrier, what happened is the carrier, they have to pay at least $50 to appoint you to the state.
correct,
So there are thousands of agents
correct.
applying this every day.
Yeah, so an app might encourage them to do it, that's why.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So they move you to the head of the curve.
Correct, because you got an app.
Yeah, rather than, because they don't know they're spending
Make sure that your
too much
commitment.
money. That makes sense?
Like me, I'm ahead with 4 apps, submit at the same time. They approve it right away.
Of course they did.
They move
We got to get this guy done, man. He's moving.
Yeah.
Yeah. This other guy didn't submit any apps. He's still waiting. It's been 3 weeks.
No, app goes-
That's right. That's exactly right.
Now you're superstar, you're like VIP, approved.
So mine's a little different than yours. Obviously, I've got administrative access, so you're not going to see like commissions and stuff. But LIMRA, like if any of your people need to do AML training, they can do it for free on here. So it doesn't cost them anything. They don't have to worry about where they go. Just log in, go to Tools and Resources, takes you straight to LIMRA.
Oh.
Here's the login. First time you log in, your national producer number. Your national producer number is your username. Your last name, lowercase, is your password. And then it'll have you change your password the first time you log in. Is your NPN number. National producer number. Not your agent number, your national producer number. You don't know what that is, you can look it up. Yeah, it's real easy to look up. So your username. Your password is your last name, lowercase. Yeah, unless you've logged in before and changed your password. But the first time you log in, they go ahead and they already set you up. You don't, everyone, you have an account. Yeah. If you've logged in and whatever your login is, that's what it is, yes. Because that's LIMRA, it's not us. It's just a direct to get there.
And you only take
You have to take it once every 2 years. I just took mine again.
How do you know if you need one or not?
Have you done it in 2 years?
I think I did.
You can always just go back in
Yeah,
there.
when you're
They'll,
on diploma, that means right.
yeah, when they go to appoint you, they're gonna find out.
Oh, yeah, now.
They used to,
Yeah.
but most will accept this. This is national stuff. I've never had a carrier not accept this, and this is the only one I've ever used. And I've got appointments with a bunch of different companies. Could they come back and say, we want you to do our specific stuff? Yeah, but most of them don't. Because they just want to make sure you've done it. If you've done it here, you've done it.
Every 2 years.
Every 2 years, you have to do it. All right, so, and then online contracting is your sure LC stuff. You know, if you've got that, that's fine. Forms and iGo. This is where you take an app. So you can print a paper app if you want, or you can take an electronic app. So once this opens, you see where here it says click for Forms and iGo. So you click on that. If you want paper apps, I don't know why you would, but if you want a paper app, you just look it up, all right, and it'll search for it. I'll walk you through that so you know how to at least get one if you want one.
We only use that when clients know the internet is down.
So you may need it. All right. So we'll do American General, okay. And you notice AIG Partners isn't on here again. They do that because they don't want people to get mistake on this. There's two AIGs. There's their brokerage and then there's their partners group. Service, new business, state, I'll say California.
Oh, this is New York only, that's why.
Oh, yeah, New York, sorry. All companies except New York. Okay. New business. We'll do California. No Vietnam, no. Product type, we'll say it's a term policy. Product name, select a term. There's only one product. Then I'm going to search for it. It pulls it up. Everything is highlighted in yellow is part of the application package. Everything in white is potential, is an optional thing. So you might, you got a client that's got aviation, whatever, child rider supplement. You see that? Drug and alcohol questionnaires. It puts it in a package for you on the right-hand side, and you can just print it out. So you don't have to look and go through which ones you need. You need them all. These are all part of the application. Okay? However, if you, in the modern world, and we use electronic mostly, which I prefer, we go to iGo. So this is a single user login. So when you log into 3Mark, you're logged into here. You just log in. It takes you right into the system. Start a new case. If you've ever used, and you have used it because you've done NLG and other companies, it's all the same system. It's all iGo. So you'll put in, client's name, date of birth, whatever, and then pick your state.
So this is where if you already had a client that you want to write and you have an appointment with a carrier, accept certain carriers. Like, I think you can put National Life in here, except AIG. You got Transamerica, you got all the most carrier free applications on here.
So when I find available, here's all the carriers that pop up. See that?
That's National Life right there.
Here's National Life, yeah. Oh. Note to self. This is important. You see where it says NL and it says LSW? Yeah. Use the LSW one. The NL one is based out of New York, and they're going to pay you based on New York comp, which is a lot less. I had an agent get pissed because he did NL. It's the same product. The difference is comp. LSW is every state except for New York. NL is a New York product, so it has to be based on New York comp. LSW. Yeah. Yeah.
All the them are right now the same. They got rid of that.
Yeah, they got rid of that. Yeah. See where it says G by all of them?
Yeah.
And then all the different carriers. Most carriers are in here. There's a few that aren't, but as you see, Transamerica, you want to do them. Mutual of
This right there
Omaha.
has a MFIU.
Oh, yeah, it's in here. Hold on. I put it under term.
Oh, term, sorry.
Yeah, if you do under IUL,
Because some of the agent here are from FFIUL. Okay, so this is where if you're from WFG,
Right.
you can see FFIUL. You can sell the same.
Can we sell?
Yes.
MFIU here?
Yeah, why not?
Yes. Oh, really? Same.
they may, but it's not in here, so they may make you go to their system.
But you can sell.
But you can sell it, yes.
Yeah,
Where?
bar, yes, yes.
What?
Let me see if it's under
I have a
universal.
question. I have a coaching with Transparent already. WFG.
No, you won't be able to move that business.
Well, until you 6 months.
No. You can be duly appointed.
Right.
Okay, you can have another broker. Not Transamerica is the only few carriers that give you dual appointment with
Correct.
two broker.
Yes.
Yes. So yeah,
You'll have another agent number.
agent number separate from the WFG.
Correct.
How do I do that?
You just submit
Go online,
contracting.
appoint to the Transamerica
Yep.
broker site.
Insurance, right? Go back to
So
Appointed.
can Kevin transfer his 100 client from WFG over here?
They won't do that.
That's why they send
Nope.
a broker. What they do, no, they can send an agent of record.
Correct.
That's the only way.
Yes.
Get the form and get all your clients say, I want, this is my new agent, and they put the new service number.
Yep.
That's
But you
all
won't
they
get paid any commissions through your new number. You get paid them on your old number.
Yeah.
Which will go to WFG. You see, here's the thing. You have to ask yourself. I was talking to a guy and he's like, I have my own business at Royal Financial Group. It's like, no, you don't. If you're a solicitor, if your commissions get paid to somebody else, you're not the agent. You're not the servicing agent. It's not your business. Period. It's their business. So if you're not getting paid directly by the carrier, it's not your business. I don't care what they tell you. Because if they tell you to get lost, there's nothing you can do about it.
Well, we learned it hard.
Of course you did. They tell, oh, it belongs to you. Right. Who's paying you? Oh, they're paying you? Yeah, it belongs to them. Did you not read your contract? You signed a solicitation agreement. All you are is a writing agent. You have no authority on that contract. It's their contract, it's their business. They do that for, think of it like this. Let's say you worked in my agency and I gave you leads and everything else, and I gave you a salary. Then I'm entitled to that business. And I would do that. I wouldn't give you the business because it's not yours, it's mine. You're an employee at that point, basically. I pay you and you do whatever, you know, so. Of course. You are the lead. You're the lead. The managers, hey, let's go talk to all your warm markets. You're my lead pool. So I recruit.
On Columbus side, if you transfer, you have to transfer it to trademark and because it depends on how EFT is set up.
Well, the only thing different is, I guess, instead of 6 months, we are punished for a year.
But will we get paid the residual later on if
We have a servicing
over there?
agent.
You should be, if you've got okay, so remember, when you sign an agreement with a carrier, right, and you write a policy, okay, that's a contract between you and the carrier. Normally, and again, every carrier is a little different, but normally, if you leave, right, they still pay you your renewals.
Yeah, but that's not the case with our old IMO. With the old IMO, the carrier pays the IMO.
And that's different.
Then the IMO pays.
And it
us.
wasn't your business to begin with, it was the IMO's business.
So even if we transfer to it, we don't get any more commission.
Can't. You know, they can't, because there's a contract between the carrier and your IMO.
So what's the use of transferring them?
So why would we want to transfer those clients?
So you can service them.
Need to. I think by law, they have to pay us commission.
That's
By
right.
law, as your license is active.
Correct.
By law, they're not. I mean,
Yeah.
They're not paying the
What happened
commission.
to WFG? Because WFG, before a lot of S agents, they formed the union.
but yes,
That
we're
they
the
sue back to
union.
WFG.
And they won, didn't they?
Yes, they won, and you have to pay back
That's
the
right.
commission. 10 years ago, 20 years ago, I even up to now, I still have received commission.
So you're saying that
No,
we
yeah.
don't even have to transfer them, we just have to go after our commission.
No, because you entitled for service your customer.
That's right.
With Columbus
That's what I'm
right?
saying. That's what
Because
I'm saying.
you still as an agent with the Department of Insurance of California, so you deserve to have commission. I mean, no matter where you are, okay. And
Why they're not paying you? They hold you.
Read your contract. So it depends on what your contract says. If you sign an agreement saying that you're giving up your commissions to them, then there's nothing you can do about it. Usually that's how they do it. WFG started changing their contracts because of stuff like that. Read the contract.
Yeah, they
You'll
changed the
see.
contract.
Yeah, they did. 'Cause they got sued.
What if they change contracts, then
No, what if
But you
the
have your original one when you sign.
Yeah.
Then you need that turned out.
That's right. You need an attorney and you have to fight for
We'll
your.
do that offline.
Is
You
it-
can take
If it's a lot of residuals, fight for them. If it's not, then just move on. Not worth paying the money.
not a lot.
No, it's, I'm gonna.
Yeah, and they can't stop you, so that's what I would do. First year commission is a lot better than renewal commission, I'll tell you that. I'll rewrite them all.
No, it's my rate, so 2.5.
I call every one of them. Hey, the good news is my situation's changed. I might be able to enhance your deal. Let's take a look at your policies. He might put you in something better. Hell yeah, I'd call him. Why not? Oh yeah, delete this part from the training video. Edit it.
Okay, now move on.
Note that I am not advocating replacing business, okay? And again, I'm not advocating replacing business, only if it puts the client in a better position. If it puts the client in a better position, then yes, I'd say replace it. If not, no. I'm on record now, but I had to clarify. Any questions on the app? Apps are easy, get them. You're used to using it. You don't need me to go through it, do you? It's IGO.
We all know how to do
Okay.
IGO.
Then we're going to move on. I'm not going to go through this, but here's where you can check your cases. It's just, that's a whole, we're running out of time. That's a whole, and there's a lot of stuff I want to show you, okay? This is how you can go and check statuses of your cases and stuff. All right, so you just click on here. Pending cases only. And we can go through this later. You guys have kind of seen a little bit about this. This is Smart Office. So you click here and it logs you right into Smart Office. Okay. Underwriting. Let's get to underwriting because I think this is a little bit more important. International clients. We do a lot of international business. So we do a lot of foreign nationals, Chinese nationals, Mexican nationals. Yeah, we do some.
How under random look for to say I have a cousin come here for a month vacation. Can
I have a-
policy.
Yes, Pan America. It's an offshore product. So
Trans-American?
No, Pan America. So it depends. Do they have any assets in the United States? Do they pay taxes? If it's yes, then I can do domestic. If the answer is no, then I do international, and I use Pan America. So the answer is yes. Okay, we're recording this, so I can't tell you what we do use it for.
Okay.
All right, but we do have international business. That does it like that, yes. The product is an offshore product. It doesn't follow MEC guidelines. So you could dump in $500,000 one time for $1 million policy. It's designed for foreign nationals to put money into it. That's what it's designed for. So
They don't need a social security number.
it's an international product. It makes no difference. They pay as long as they don't pay any taxes in the U.S., then they can buy an international product. What do you mean? You can pick anywhere they want. Doesn't matter.
They can give it to me.
That's right. That's my retirement plan. I go on 20% of the app. Technically, you can make anybody you want a beneficiary of any product.
I'm in offshore.
No, I don't know of any offshore annuities. That's a financial product. No, that gets a little funky.
So,
All right, so international,
Pan American.
probably best thing is if you got international clients, give us a call. Don't try to do it on your own. Voya doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
They're gone out of the business completely. Yeah.
That's what
They do not sell life
you buy
insurance.
a lot of business for ya.
You're probably not going to see them because they're no longer in business. They're literally gone. Maybe, I don't know, but they do not sell insurance anymore. Well, again, it's a contractual agreement, so they're going to service that book. They have to.
But they don't really
Correct.
No more. Is that because the insolvent? Or
No, they just wanted to get out of the market.
it's not profitable?
For them, it's not profitable. MetLife got out of the market.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that?
Now it's called Bright House Financial.
That was called Bright House Financial. All right, underwriting and impaired risk. So underwriting, this is a good system right here, underwriting and impaired risk. So this answers the marijuana questions, the tobacco questions. So down here we have underwriting guidelines. You see that? Aviation, cholesterol, family history, mature, MVR, scuba, smoking, cigar, chews, and pipe. You see that? Marijuana. Let's click on marijuana. See how people view this.
Illegal in California now.
It's legal or illegal?
Legal.
Legal.
It is legal.
Okay, recreational users ages 25 or older decline, or under decline, I'm sorry. Ages 26 are individually considered. Final offer depends on frequency, quantity, and overall, blah, blah, blah. So that one's kind of vague. But we go to another one.
As long as they disclose.
That's right. So let's say, all right, so ratings could also differ given alcohol consumption and history of depression. Okay. Many cases qualify for standard non-smoker rates, but may consider up to preferred plus if social use less than 1 time per month. So if your client smokes marijuana less than 1 time per month, they can still get preferred rates, preferred plus rates, non-smoker with Lincoln. And then it goes through the rest of them. So every carrier is different. So the best one I think is Prudential. Will be rated as a non-smoker regardless of frequency. Okay.
Because they like
As long as
to
they
piece
don't
of
use
rock.
tobacco products.
3 times a week or less can qualify for any category up to non-smoker. 4 to 6 times a week. They can smoke weed almost every day and still get a policy with Prudential.
Oh, like,
Yeah.
You know why, Kevin?
Every day.
Because they want you to have a piece of the rock.
So you see here it says 4 to 6 a week would be a table 4 or table B. So here's what I would tell him. He smokes 3 times a week. Then he can get anything he wants. Yeah, 4 to 6, you're table B. 3, you're a standard plus. So anyway, and you can go through this and it'll show you all the different carriers and what they're willing to offer. We can write people with HIV. Here's 3 carriers that will do it. John Hancock, Symetra, and North America. They're the guidelines for it. So if you run into somebody that has HIV, these are the only ones that'll do it. Yeah.
San Francisco crowd.
San Francisco, here I come.
Hang around
Go
there.
get pamphlets out. You too can qualify for life insurance.
I want you to want me.
Exactly. So if you got HIV, just so you know, if they have HIV, they can get it, but it starts at table 6. Starting. Of course, it's going to be expensive.
What about lower things like STDs or
Depends. It depends on if it's active. I mean, if you got somebody that's got active chlamydia, they're probably going to wait till they cure before they issue a policy. So it just depends.
Would it be better to get a final expense versus the regular product? HIV?
These are for higher amounts. So you got a guy that needs $1 million. Final expense is nothing to him. These are going to be higher amounts. Magic Johnson, I'm going to call you. $100 usually up to $1 million, usually permanent, no term. Table shaves, are y'all familiar with those? So if a person's rated, some carriers will do table shaves. They'll shave ratings off. Here's the guidelines for it. I'm not going to go through it all, but so this is a table shave, means it's a true table shave. So with Lincoln, right? See Lincoln Financial? Table 3 automatically goes to standard. So if you're a table B, table A, B, or C, you automatically go to standard for permanent products only. permanent products only. Principal, you can be a table 3 or a flat extra. Permanent products only. The rest are credits. So it tells you the credits. Means that they can give you up to 3 tables based on the credits that they like. A person says, I run 5 times a week. Well, there's a credit. I go to the doctor every year annually and do my regular physical. There's another credit. Stuff like that. So they can have healthy credits that can get them better ratings.
So if you lost weight,
Yes, you're healthy. If you run into something and you don't know, like, all right, I don't know what this would be, there's a health questionnaires. So you're going here and all the different elements, you see that? So asthma, for example. So it'll give you, look, it kind of gives you some ideas right here. Mild, significant episodes, less than 2 a year. Tells you what it is. They break it down, then they tell you what type of table rating you're looking at. But what this does is there's a form that we ask, get it filled out so we can get the questions we need to ask, so we can ask an underwriter.
when you're looking at all their health conditions and you're seeing the ratings, you're able to go and estimate how much to rate that. With things, you know how it tells you you have to select the table.
Right here. Table
So
zero.
then I can choose that table to figure out what numbers.
Absolutely.
There's a more sophisticated system that we use too that'll do that. X-ray underwriting assessment tool. It's an online underwriting tool. I don't know if it's going to let me log in, and I don't remember what my password
No, I
is.
tell them to fill the inquiry in for
You know how to use it.
information, and then they'll give it to me.
Yeah, perfect. All right.
Basically show my name and
Okay. I'm going to log out and then I'll log in with you so we can at least show what it looks like, okay? So here's what I would say. Okay, go back. Here's what I would say is if you've got any rate ups or declines ever, put them in X-ray. Go find every client that you've ever had that's been declined and put them in X-ray to see if you can find an offer. Here, I'll let you, I'm gonna go to the restroom while you do this. I'll let you.
It's like,
No. Let's go to go to the next room.
to the VIP room.
Yeah. Don't go to the same room.
Go to the steam room. He'll never come back. We can take a break. That's Jonathan from 3 months. He works for 3 months. And we work off, that's all.
Karaoke. That's all done.
We're not done, Dave. You cannot leave yet.
Okay, I forgot my password. I have to find my password.
It's 3, and then the mark is capital.
Oh, capital. Okay, yeah.
Capital, and then mark it with
Okay, that's what it is. It's the 3 capital M, right? 3 MARKFIN.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a default. I never change it.
No. Okay.
What is it? Uh-huh.
And then capital M.
M
AIKFIN.
FIN. And an asterisk. Right?
No.
Okay.
See? I know your password.
Oh my God. So these are the case I submitted.
Can I open one up so I can show them? So an X-ray, I'm not going to go through all this, but basically you create a new case, and then I'm going to back out and we're going to look at some of them. And you just answer all the questions that they ask you. They're going to get detailed. The more detail you give them, the more accurate your quote's going to be. Okay? So if you forget to tell them that they had a heart attack, things will change. But if you're accurate, go ahead.
I did generate a one-pager. I sent out to the DCF that you can forward to the agent and they can answer the questions and send it back.
Yep.
It's called the informal inquiry. They all know this. It was on the third question.
We have printed.
Okay, so that's it. So I did.
Informal inquiry.
Because I took it from there and I typed it.
Yes.
So I'm going to go back. I'm going to open one of these cases up so you can see, because they already have offers, right?
Right, yeah.
All right, we're going to open this one up, see if it, all right, so here's what it's going to look like when it comes back. What is it? Message. Where's the offers is at?
Did I did that already? Or maybe I didn't.
Was it deleted? All right, let
Maybe
me,
the other one.
okay, let's try another one. Hopefully.
Yeah, London is the one, yeah. The second one.
Okay.
Oh, Carolyn. See, Carolyn's the one who come back. Yeah, she did.
Okay, so here we go. This is what it'll look like. It'll come back. So we know Nationwide's a decline. We know John Hancock's at table 2. These aren't guesses either. We know that this is what the offer is going to be. So now I can run a quote and I can be specific. I don't have to be general because I've already went to, the carrier's already looked at this. Now let me clarify this. These were put through X-ray. If you're not accurate, I'll give you an example of one that I did. Submitted a case. Guy had active hepatitis. Was taking Infuron or something. I got a table 2 offer. Okay, through X-ray. When we went through underwriting, they came back with a table 4. Here's why. He failed to tell me that he had been on medication before, got off, had to get back on. It's called failed treatment. If you leave something off, they can come back and say, "Wait, you didn't tell us that." But if you're accurate, so be detailed in your information, get as much information as you can, then we can make them honor these quotes. So they're not just random stuff. I mean, unless there's new information that would warrant them to change their offer that wasn't divulged, there's no reason that and we'll hold them to it. And they'll honor it.
But we see that an offer from the carrier, they say this is based on verification and medical report that they were reported. Okay, this is only a snapshot of what was presented to them in front without digging deeper.
This didn't go into the MIB, this is just.
No, this is without the MIB, right? We're not dinging the MIB.
No dings on the MIB, nothing like that. So if it's all declines everywhere, it doesn't hurt them because there's no record of it. This is an informal type deal. Yeah, there's still going to be a formal underwriting,
Right.
but if you're accurate and detailed, you're not going to have any problems. If you're just vague and say, you don't really put a lot of detail in it, then yeah, it may not be as accurate as possible. But if you're accurate, then it should be fine.
Okay, what it means is A is 1, B is 2. That's how the alphabet A, B, C, D, E, F. And it depends on the carrier. Some will go as low as table P as in Paul. That means you're going to fail. Misspell. But we don't want to table P.
Not Paul.
What the fuck?
So actually, in my case, one of the underwriters has been sick on the side, and she gave me suggestions like Prudential, Richard Omaha, and Cat Life and all that stuff. So if it comes back, need more information or unable to determine, then the actual underwriter will look at and give you the result.
Right.
Can you
So
log in your
that's
3 mark?
what they.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, your 3 mark?
My 3 mark.
Yeah.
Oh,
I logged out of mine.
oh, okay, you need to get
Yeah,
there.
I'll
Oh,
do
no problem. Okay, yeah.
There's one other two last things I want to show you, and then we're done. It's a lot of information. I didn't even show you everything on the website because we'd be here another 2 hours. So
There's a lot of stuff in there.
there's a lot of stuff in here. So we're gonna,
Everything's on the website.
Yeah.
everything's on the
We
website.
need a-
Even
we need a
Jonathan
month to go
discovered.
through all that.
I discovered stuff.
Discovered new stuff every day.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I didn't know we did that. Yep.
Give me the month to see all of this.
Yeah.
You don't do anything, just look at it and say your money.
So under products and solutions, I'll let you go through all these yourself later on, but under life insurance, I'm gonna use them for example. This starts addressing the questions you had regarding what type of riders. So term quote, I'm gonna use them, I'm gonna open it up.
do it under products and then life insurance.
Yes. Let's see here. How do we make it bigger?
If I was a teenager, I'd be like, this is sick, and it's awesome.
How do you make it bigger?
Like a gold rush. Control,
Plus?
control plus, yeah.
Okay. All right. So this is just a quick guide. So if you need some information on a product, you can, oh, put that back. Oh. So the little bar. Anyway, so it gives you the carrier. See that? Gives you the carrier, name of the product, issue ages, minimum face amount. So we know this is 100. This one goes down to 50. And then the riders that are available. Terminal, chronic, whatever. And every carrier is like this. So if you need, if you're asking yourself, all right, well, who'll do 50,000? Well, pull this up and look, quick. It'll tell you who'll do 50,000. I only want living benefits with term. Okay, well then go through here and you can pick the ones that have it. Not many have it, but. And then you ask, well, who's all the carriers that have the living benefits? Okay, well, linked benefit, long-term care product, quick guide, here. We open this one up. And I'm not gonna, but it gives you more a breakdown of how it works. Okay, it's
This is like a master sheet of everything
Yeah.
that we said yesterday about from National Life. They tell you different carrier, just a summary of living benefit. Yeah, this is another. This is the whole industry, the whole 35 carrier that we have.
Yep, and then this is like a link benefit. Then you have the chronic, critical, terminal, long-term care riders. Okay, so
That was long-term care. This is living benefit.
this is living benefits. The other one was long-term
I
care.
don't need you anymore from now on.
Oh, I can retire now.
We're fired
I
here.
can retire now.
Retire, exactly.
Yeah, it's 35 for long-term care.
Yes,
Yes.
and annuities. So these carriers have critical, chronic illness only. Okay, these have critical illness. These have chronic and critical, chronic, terminal. American National, Emeritus, Life of the Southwest, North American, Transamerica. These are all the carriers that have the living benefits. These carriers have true long-term care. Do you know the difference between them?
You can pick your,
So when you pay for something, right? I wouldn't say it's better, but when you pay for something, you know what you're getting. Is that right? Do we agree with that? So the living benefits is an assumption. You're going to get between this and this. There's not an exact number of what you're actually going to get, right? You're going to get up to 90%, but you could get as low as 25%. So it's going to be somewhere in there, depending on the severity of it, right? When you pay for a long-term care rider up front, it's about 8% of the cost of the premium. You know exactly what you're getting. Usually it's 2 or 3% of the face amount per month. Not a percentage, it's 2 or 3% per month. So if I had a $500,000 policy and I had a 2% rider, I would get $10,000 a month in long-term care benefit. I know exactly what I'm getting, but you pay for it.
When it's a no cost, then it's a discount.
Correct.
When you pay for it, you get a full benefit.
Correct. You got it.
Right, exactly. If you can buy a long-term care rider,
You got it.
up to the face amount, then when it happens, you can use the full benefit because you pay for it. Versus the living benefit is a low-cost rider, then it's be discounted. So that's the best way to.
So there's only 3 carriers. Well, AIG Partners, they need to add AIG Partners. There's only 4 carriers that have it on term. Transamerica, Life of the Southwest, American National, and AIG Partners. There are no other carriers that have living benefits on term. Yes.
The only one that has that
LSW, I think. Yeah.
Nobody else in the industry has.
Oh, you know what? I think, no. I think American National is offering it now too.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
but it normally takes about 2 years, so it might not be in all the states yet.
Okay, so any questions on that? You can go through this, you know, We do group stuff too. So if you have any group, and the last thing that I'm going to show you is the news and events, 3-mark webinars, okay, and blogs. So I'm going to look under 3-mark webinars, and then I'll open it up for Q&A. So under 3-mark webinars, you can go to archive. This shows you all, pre-need. That's something you probably want to take a look at potentially. It's actually better than guaranteed issue. We can get into that later. But if you go to archive, this shows you the webinars that are coming up. But under archived, you wanted some really good training? We archive every training that we've done. There's all kinds of stuff in here. I mean, you can go through this and just pick out, section 199A, the small business tax deduction, and its impact on you. That might be something you might want to go take a look at, because you can have some knowledge that no one else has. Anyway, I would highly recommend going through this, and these are like independent training sessions.
Does that bring similar to that AIL policy that you typically pretty much give to the funeral home to prepay the expenses?
No. It's an actual, the funeral home doesn't have to accept that form. And a lot of them don't. They don't know what the hell it is. It doesn't matter, right? Yeah. A pre-need contract is a contractual, it's an insurance product, but it's a contract with the funeral home. So here's what it does. It's always short pay, never more than 10 years. That's the longest pay period, okay? But it guarantees, it locks in the rate of that funeral. The AIL deal, that's just an insurance product. What if the funeral cost $15,000 and you had a $10,000 policy? You still have to come up with $5,000, right? Pre-need is not like that. Your contract, you pay for products and services before you use them. So you know exactly what you're getting, exactly what the cost is. There's no additional cost that they can charge you. Anytime you're selling guaranteed issue, I would highly recommend you take a look at the pre-need instead. Have you ever seen the cost for a guaranteed issue? Stupid.
It's like they're almost
3 years you could save the money. Why would you buy it? You know how much of that stuff that we sell? Almost nothing, because when they see the premium, it's crazy. So if you're that sick where you have to get guaranteed issue, and the comp sucks for the agents like 35%, you might as well sell them a pre-need because they're not getting anything else. Comp doesn't change on the pre-need. You're going to be paid a lot more. And it's better for the client because they're actually buying a funeral, a cremation or funeral.
So that's more like the very down for
Yeah.
Well, there's a webinar coming up on March 7th. I would recommend.
That's today.
Is that today?
Yeah, it's already
Oh, well, never mind. It'll be recorded.
What time was that webinar? Can we catch it right now?
That's Texas time, and it's 6 o'clock here, so
Yeah.
it's 8 o'clock there. Exactly. Under archive webinars, take a look at this product. I think you'll like it. You've looked at it. You know the deal.
The end of the day is pre-market. There's a lot of information.
A lot.
Than we can handle.
It is different. Final expenses and insurance. This is actual products and services. So you're actually buying your funeral. You're insuring it. What if you don't pay it off, right? That's what the insurance is for, is to pay it off until you, but once you've paid for it, it's paid off. So let's say you have a 10 pay. At the end of the 10 years, you have a paid off policy. You have a paid up pre-need. It pays off your funeral.
Funeral or cremation. So one guy was talking to us about homesteader or homes.
It's another company.
So this is like similar to that, right?
Same thing.
But this is your global Atlantic.
This is Global
Global
Atlantic.
Atlantic.
Look,
But
that's the biggest.
that's
This is,
Accordia, right?
no,
No.
they own Accordia.
They own Accordia.
Oh,
This is
okay.
a parent company of Accordia.
Oh, okay.
This company, by far, and we're not even talking like a little bit, by far, probably has more assets and resources than all the other pre-need companies combined.
Morgan Stanley.
Yes.
Oh,
Morgan Stanley used to own all of Atlantic. You know who Morgan Stanley is, right? The giant broker house. They spun off Global Atlantic back in 2000 something to become an entity. So they used to be part of Morgan Stanley. So
That's
where
a-
the assets come from, yeah.
Exactly. But that's, again, that we stayed right at the 2-hour mark. So if there's any questions, but there's a lot of information. The best thing to do is to just get in there and start messing with it. You'll run into stuff and be like, hey, how does this work? Or what is this? Just get familiar with it. If you get familiar with it, there's a lot of resources in there. There's resources that I don't even know that are in there.
So for hold on a second, I'm going to sign each of you 1 second.
We're gonna present at the thing.
Okay. Well, any Q&A for?
Any Q&A? We still have about 9 minutes.
Tell me again the difference between a pre-need funeral insurance
Okay.
and final.
So final expense is an insurance product, right? You die, somebody takes that product to the funeral home, and then they have to negotiate at that time what the cost of that funeral is going to be, right? Could be more than what your life insurance is. So if I got a $10,000 policy and I die today, and they take it to the funeral home says it's going to be $15,000, and my family has to come up with $5,000, right? But a right? Just cut her feet off and put her in the little casket. Just stick them next to her. She won't know the difference, I promise. So pre-need, you have what's called goods and services from the funeral home. So you already pick out everything you want, and you know the pricing of it, and the insurance covers it. So in this scenario, if you die, all your family,
Haven't fully paid it yet.
then it pays it off. But everything's paid for. It means your family doesn't have to negotiate anything because you've already done that. You've negotiated the price already and locked it in today's rates, right? And you've already negotiated everything you want. So literally, your family doesn't have to do anything. You've already done it. You paid for it.
But if I die, it is before.
Then the insurance pays the rest of it off.
Complete plan. It's a self-completion.
It's a self-completing plan, yes. So you pick out what you want, how you want it. I think it is, but
for certain people.
it's for certain people.
Age up to
40 to 80.
Okay.
It's pretty much guaranteed issue.
Let's see, you're only 35. So don't be
I'm
Yeah.
not planning my own funeral yet.
Well, I know for many years I was uninsurable for various reasons, and I became insurable. During that time, I did try to prepay or figure out some burial, not to leave that responsibility to my family, and it is a lot less expensive.
To do a little bit at a time now for the
And it's
pre-need.
direct, and it's less stressful. So they look for everything out, it's not scheduled.
Yeah.
And most people that we ran into during final expense are trying to leave a couple thousand to their kids, which is like, what's that? When you're really trying to pay for the funeral, they're like, oh, I'll get creepy.
Couple of basics to
The
invest.
lady that has $20 a month,
Exactly.
this plan would work for her.
Potentially.
Because we.
20 bucks is,
You
yeah.
gotta be able to.
Very
afford
low.
20 bucks.
Yeah,
Unless you wanna be
she was
cremated anyway.
like $20.
But her thing was she wanted to leave a couple to each of her sons. So this pre-need wouldn't give any resources to her
Nope.
family. She'd have to have.
There's
some life
no
insurance
residual
policy.
insurance, period. You've bought a prepaid funeral. That's it. The insurance only covers that. There will be nothing left, ever.
Right.
Zero.
Final expense, they'll pay off
Potentially.
this, and if they have enough after that.
Yeah, because it's
then
insurance.
Right. It's one
But
of
they
the-
still have to negotiate everything. So
One last thing.
you're actually better off, if they can afford it, buy a pre-need and then a $5,000 final expense.
Well, this morning, I
No,
understand
like,
we
what is your question?
to
How to
Kaizen
be covered?
versions,
You want-
which is good. I think
Okay.
this is good because I try to open one for mine, right? But mine, because the premium is too high. So I'm thinking about between 1.5 to 1 million between the age of 50 to 55, right? Then we can buy a term policy, and then you turn when you turn to 55, then you convert to Kaizen for 1 million,
Yeah.
1.5 million, because
You're locking the health.
Yeah, we do it all the time.
Yeah.
I do it all the time. Yeah.
So basically, right now, because you want a 1.5 million,
Yeah.
you said 2 years from now, I'll be 55, example. So now you're 53, I must say you are charged. So you say, I'm going to take a $1 million term for 5 years, 10 years, okay?
8 years.
Okay, so that at least when you turn 55, you convert that $1 million term to a Kaizen, guarantee issue.
She's
Lock in your house.
excited.
What about the 2 year, 2 year?
I can't little kids.
Contestability, that's
No.
why
No, contestability.
you can convert it anytime, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It has nothing, no bearing in it.
Nothing to contestability, only if you die, then the contestability. But other than that, after
But
2 years,
after you convert it, and
It's a new contract.
A new
the
contract.
new contract will be starting.
Yes. I do it all the time. So like, for example, I've got a client, they're making a decision, they want to do permanent, but they're him-hawing about wanting to spend the money. Okay, while you're thinking about it, because you obviously haven't locked in this, let's lock in your insurability. You're insurable today. You may not be tomorrow. Let's start you with a 20-year term. You can convert it at any time. I'll come back and see you next year and the year after that. When you're ready, we can convert it over. Make them a client.
What if they
No
say,
underwriting.
what if they say, I already have life insurance?
You
Well,
have living benefit.
Right? Old insurance or the new insurance?
Do you have a rotary phone or a smartphone or like?
That's right. How long ago did you buy it?
This one I can
One.
fast moving and stuff.
I can show them the video yesterday.
No.
Well, the old
Okay.
insurance doesn't pay you, only pays you if you
Okay.
die.
I think we're
The new
repeating,
insurance pays you if you get sick, injured.
we're repeating the same questions from the training last 2 days. We have a new question I want to bring up here. So, some people wanted to know the difference between an IMO and an MGA. No. Then ask your questions.
So just if you could say a little bit on becoming an MGA in 3 months.
Essentially, an MGA is a sub. Like a sub organization. It's based on volume.
Right.
So
it's volume.
with volume, and we're a volume business. With enough production, then an MGA is just a higher contract.
Where do we see the?
Well, we run that through Odd.
Yeah.
So he has all that.
Have in-house, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, he has it all
We
in
have a
house.
system in-house.
So the answer is yes. There's already a system in place, and it always boils down to production. This isn't WFG. We don't care if you have 100 agents or 5 agents. We care how much production you write. That's the only thing that matters. The amount of agents, not as important. Some places you have to recruit like 1,000 million people to get anywhere, and that gets old.
3 off the MGA commission to MGA.
Correct. Yes.
Running business.
Gets paid by the carrier. You got it.
So we never get paid from Jonathan or what? Jonathan's free market. We never get paid from Lindsay.
How long he live in Sugarland?
I know.
I know where he lives.
No, you don't do that.
That's why he get. That's why he goes sugar cane. That's what they sugar
Yeah.
cane. All
They
the
actually,
sugar
that's why
cane.
they call it sugar. That's what, yeah.
I'm gonna
No,
turn
no,
off
they're
the
they're not there anymore, but Imperial Sugar had all this stuff.
I mean, now, okay, let's say I become an MGA. I have all the volume.
See, he's gonna put up competition.
3 months. If somebody sign up to go to